Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2. I have the pleasure of introducing to you the Terran player. They're in the red, in the bottom right of Grasvin, Team Liquid's very own Clem. And in the top left, once again, StarCraft 2 came out when he barely had object permanence, but he's been a permanent object in StarCraft 2 for quite a while now. The mysterious MaxPax. Oftentimes contesting the #1 ranked Protoss slot. One of the top 10 players in the world. Usually him and Clem are neck and neck, I believe 7 and 8 right now in overall rankings. But yet again, a best of 5 PvT between these two. Already starting off with a little bit of worker-on-worker aggression. I can only assume things will escalate from here because 1, I see the minimap, and 2, I've seen these two before. And every time they play, I'm not going to say there's something new, but it's an explosive, aggressive, in-your-face, exhausting series. And if you like a series that makes you feel tired just by watching, let alone even thinking about playing the game, if you enjoy that, you might even say you like it, well, it'd be amazing if you could like this video. Jimmy, what are we at? If we get 1,080 likes on this cast, on this video, I'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways. And... no. Okay. Well. Clem killed an Adept with a Reaper, which, on paper, the Adept counters the Reaper. But if you abuse the attack animation of guns throwing energy balls out of your arm, well, then apparently you could kill Adepts with a Reaper. So, that kind of cuts off my point, and the Adept as well. So that's a taste. I think MaxPax got the better of him in, well, I'm sorry, okay. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. Hopefully this series, my cast, makes it a little bit better. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Reaper gets in, scouts the Stalker, sees the Twilight. Shield battery in the main, by the way. Becoming quite a thing. Seen several players using that lately. It's always... I mean, everybody's watching everything at this stage of StarCraft 2. Almost every pro game. I mean, you see the familiar faces, metaphorically, of course, especially with MaxPax, in essentially every tournament, especially online, when you can participate from anywhere with maybe just a little bit of complaints about pain. So... the shield battery in the main has made a resurgence. Parting popularized it back half a decade ago or so when he's like, well, what if we just didn't Reaper wall and then we just built a shield battery in the main? Because you're probably going to eventually need a shield battery in the main. Sure, it cuts a little bit into your economy now, but it lets me focus on my Blink Stalkers later. And lo and behold, what do we have from MaxPax? Blink Stalkers with a Warp Prism. It's going to be the early aggression, as opposed to some sort of macro play. Yes, he's going to take a third. Yes, he has a Spylon. He's going to spot the single Widow Mine drop here, but it is a blink pressure, as opposed to a defensive posture. Though, he wants to have at least a couple Stalkers, just one at home. He's calling the bluff. He says, you probably don't have more than maybe 2 Widow Mines in there. If there were more than that, then a single Stalker wasn't going to cut it. Or maybe somehow he knows there's only one, but I think that's pushing it. Like, one Stalker can blink out of the mine, diffusing it, and by diffusing it, meaning waiting until it kind of regenerates, but... okay, well, there are 2 bunkers, but only one of them has Marines in them. The decoy bunker will be taken out. The rest of the Marines, there were 2 siege tanks in the main, but that is far from the natural, so MaxPax able to cut through and get some damage done. He's going to kill the refineries. I don't know if he got an SCV yet. Widow Mine drop. Still hasn't moved on the minimap. What do we got up here? A Raven on the way, heading north. Not chilling at home, but instead going to do a counter-attack. Widow Mine drop going to burrow. MaxPax reacts, and he handles it. Oh, Widow Mine ends up getting a Stalker, so pays for itself. At the end of the day, but then taken out. Raven heading towards the main, but the shield battery's already there. MaxPax is due diligence, covering his bases, quite literally. And the Raven looks menacingly down upon the probes and says, soon. Well, not soon now. The Blink Stalker's in the main, able to deny combat shield, taking out the tech lab. Siege tanks unsieged. Still more than enough of a threat for the Blink Stalkers to evacuate, but unfortunately he didn't get the stim, which is the more valuable of the two upgrades to snipe, as Marines with a little more HP aren't nearly as dangerous as Marines and Marauders that can chase you down and do double attack speed. But, MaxPax must not have had quite enough vision to spot that medevac and pick it off, which means Clem will be able to bring it back home and add it to his army, which it is a seesaw with Blink Stalkers against this Terran army. At first, the Blink Stalkers have control of the situation. Before you got medevacs, before you have upgrades, the triple threat, specifically the +1, stim, combat shield, and combat shield already delivered. Then, once those things come online, it kind of seesaws back towards the Terran. The stim, the siege tanks, the medevacs are just too strong for Blink Stalkers to fight heads up. So they have to fight essentially a retreating action across the map. And then, if the Blink Stalker is able to do enough, or if the tech comes online quickly enough, by the time the Terran comes across the map, or gets a medevac sniped off because of a well-placed observer and well-placed Blink Stalkers, well, once MaxPax gets to Colossi, upgrades, an overwhelming amount of charge lots, well, then it seesaws right back towards the Protoss, as they're able to take near full map control, while the Terran has to, at that point, you're looking towards building up towards a max out, as you can't really contest the both charge lots, Colossi, and potentially Archons. Probably not Archons too early on. But it is a very momentum-based matchup, and now Clem is trying to take it back. He even waited for combat shield here. Even though it delayed his push somewhat, he's got quite a strong one. The Stalker's getting a little lazy on the ramp, losing another one. The Stims hit again. Colossus being chrono boosted. I believe MaxPax built an Immortal first. Another Stalker shaved off, trying to blink back, but that's a dangerous game, as concussive shells is already complete, ready to break the knees of those Stalkers and anything else that gets in range, whether or not they literally have knees notwithstanding. Siege tank, Widow Mines doing a number. A force field also there for moral support. Another force field, this one strongly just angering the Terrans mostly. Force field mostly used to dictate the emotional state of the game as opposed to actually walling anything off against Terran. It's just too hard to pin them down. But a bit of a lazy move on the medevacs there. I believe that was select all army. Which, I mean, quite an army to select, but when your medevacs wandering back across the map, not particularly ideal. Couple zealots, explore expeditionary force here, find a couple SCVs, and more importantly, note the third base is up and beginning to mine. So MaxPax has a beat on that now. He knows that he doesn't have a huge economic advantage. He can't just sit back passively waiting for Clem to come to him. He has to do whatever he can to zone this army out. But now, 4 Widow Mines and a siege tank on top of them. The charge lots close in and try to collapse on that tank. Well, the Widow Mines are definitely going to hurt. I'm pretty sure MaxPax realized that situation was happening, at least to some extent. Ghost Academy on the way. Vikings in production. Clem reacting directly. Widow Mines blunting the force of the counterattack. The Zealot waves, as MaxPax likes to have. The Zealot waves have begun. As only 5 of them so far. Well, I believe there were a few more, but Widow Mines, you know, exist. MaxPax spamming probes here. 4 more at a time. He's going past 70. Clem still building SCVs. He's not in a particularly all-in timing or anything like that. Ooh, loses a Stalker to a mine, but clears it up as the armory is not quite done yet. And that's kind of valuable information for MaxPax. That way he knows his +2 attack should be quicker than Clem, as he literally cannot have +2 until that armory finishes up. So, MaxPax could be working off a slight upgrade advantage. He's adding on 3 more gases now, indicating he wants to go even further up the tech tree And yep, there's one robo. He's got extended thermal lance disruptors on the way. A second 3 robos. Triple robo. That's a lot of danger balls. We'll have to see. Clem is building the anti-Protoss army. He's building Vikings, Ghosts. He's adding on more racks and another starport. He knows what he wants. And that's a whole lot of bio and enough Vikings to knock down anything in the sky. And guess what? If you don't need Vikings, you can build some Liberators. MaxPax, on the other hand, is building the Zerg. He's getting triple robo, Dark Shrine. +2 is on the way. Only 8 gates for now. But he's at 77 probes. And, well, that's not an overwhelming number yet. But MaxPax's style has kind of evolved into this almost MOBA style of... Whoa! Disruptor actually lands. Clem leans into it. Didn't quite notice. He has so many air units, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on underneath here. MaxPax with good force fields to save his disruptors there. Zealots coming in towards the 4th. Planetary is done, but another important scout. Now he knows for sure that 4th base is online. Of course, you don't want to throw away too many Zealots in these counterattacks, but MaxPax has no problem paxing his supply to the max. So, 192 to 170. And last time I looked, like a minute ago, I thought Clem was in a slight supply lead, but MaxPax with 3 robos and 8 gates. I believe, yeah, more gates coming online. 10 and 2 more. He's going up to a dozen. 15 production facilities. Rivaling the production of Clem here. And those Protoss units are significantly more expensive. Disruptors staggered through. Another one. The fadeaway shot. Catching whatever is coming after him. He's already gotten some good shots in. EMP doesn't interrupt the Ruptors. Vikings trying to trade hits against the Colossi. Still zoning. No man's land in the centers. The Purification Novas. Well, no man's one way or another. As the Purification Nova blunts the front line. I believe about a dozen supply taken out by that one. As Clem, with a bloodied nose, retreats back towards his 3rd. Zealots into the natural. Starting to cut through the economy as well. Liberators helping. But the Zealots actually spot Clem coming all the way back. His units aren't even fully healed. So, retreating off the map at this stage. MaxPax regains that ground immediately, pushes his army up the moment he notices. Sensor tower a little late. He could have used that info by the time this army got here, but he flings out 3 shots. Liberators trying to zone for the center. Advanced ballistics already on the way. We already knew what the fusion core was going to be for. Clem settling in. MaxPax is at 90 probes right now, which is actually a bit of a problem, as his army supply won't be able to compete with Clem once he's maxed out. Assuming we get there, of course, as MaxPax is doing a good job with the most dangerous force fields. The Disruptors, another sensor tower going to be canceled. Oh, chews off the front. The Vikings may find the Colossi, but MaxPax is doing a good job of protecting his Disruptors here. And there's not that much left on the ground. The Disruptor count is so damn high, the Liberators are nowhere to be seen, and GG is called. As MaxPax, with quite a decisive performance in Game 1. Clem really never got anything going. He kind of poked and prodded, but from the Blink Stalkers all the way to the end of the game, MaxPax was threatening without overstepping. There's an invisible line that you can only know you've crossed for sure after it's too late. That line when you blink, or, well, blanc, into siege tanks or marauders, and you thought you could win the fight and you just, not quite. But not this time. MaxPax keeps just enough pressure on to keep Clem from... Clem didn't do any drops but the Widowmine drop. He did the Raven harass, which I bet he was hoping those Ravens were maybe with the army, but that's it. There was no multi-pronged bio pressure. There was no medevacs in the main. MaxPax put so much pressure on Clem couldn't do all the things that he's best at. So, that very high pressure Protoss pushing Clem over the edge, and the Disruptors just sealing the deal. Well played. by MaxPax. If you're I mean, part of it's the opener. He did go for the mine. Oh, he's switching it up already. We got 2 gas. The mine drop opener, I do declare, indeed, the mine drop's a bit outdated. Even though they have a ton of, like, it's relatively low risk to high reward, usually it lands somewhere in the middle, at best, as Protosses have gotten ridiculously good at defending against them. Yes, every once in a while you'll just win a game off it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really get you much if they shut down the mine drop and they still have blink stalkers in your face. And just sniping off the combat shield delayed the push so much. By so much, I mean like 40, 50 seconds, maybe. That Colossi were out, that the 4th base was up. Details, seconds, they matter. Proxy gates. Pylons. A lot of things. Oh, he didn't build a shield battery. No shield battery. Reaper gets a kill. That is annoying. Wait, is this just a straight up 3-gate? I was about to say this is a PvP build, but building a bunch of gateways and warping in units is more like a Wings of Liberty build. Okay. So, I think part of this is to counter and to, again, aggressive defense. The best defense... MaxPax is truly embracing the idea that the best defense is a good offense. So yet again... Oh my god, not again. This really shouldn't keep happening. Reapers are not supposed to kill Adepts. Anyways. He sees that Clem is on 1 base. Probably 2 gas, probably some tech. He's not sure if he's expanded. So instead of sitting back and trying to defend, he's warping in front of him, which forces Clem to respond. So he's already grabbed the initiative away from Clem. And now they have to struggle over it. Like, at the same time, though, Widowmines, he could do... Oh, he has just enough vision there. MaxPax can see barely up the ramp. Widowmine trying to reposition. He may try to do the dodge onto it. Oh, a different mine. Oh. Oh, he didn't get the depot. Clem saves the depot at the last second with a couple clutch SCVs. And there are 2. Oh, the Widowmine. He nabs it right back into the medevac. MaxPax just eats it on an Adept. The Stalkers are waltzing in like they own the place. And, well... Only the siege tank remains to tell them they're wrong. Going for the reactor. The tank itself, MaxPax doesn't even bother. He knows that Clem will save it. But the SCVs he can't save. They die in a single volley. In comes the Widowmine drop yet again. He gets the Stalker with it. Some pretty slick for one of the more clunky units. The Widowmine drop gets the Stalker. MaxPax has 40 probes. So, he's doing such a good job of looking like he's very committed while macroing hard behind. And in this case, macroing hard means just building more probes for the most part. But still, this is not all in by MaxPax by any means. In fact, if Clem takes any real amount of damage that isn't like a couple SCVs. Okay, alright, Widowmine, prairie dogging, scampers away. Definitely a scampering sort of unit. Microing. He's trying to deny it the potential to lock on. Because technically you can retarget the mine during its, its lock-on phase. I was trying to come up with something clever, but it wouldn't have been... Either way, lock-on phase. Adept into the main, draws the first tank volley, and uses that to blink in and kill the mine. Oh, doesn't quite target fire the Raven. He might be able to get it now. Clem is not really keeping great care of it, as it's kind of out in front with just a few Marines to protect it. But there's a lot going on right now. The Stalkers just Just fire off into the distance, guys. Come on. Come on, why can't we shoot in the general area? Well, the medevac is probably about, I believe, 1 hit. Oh, well. There's still the Widowmine inside, which doesn't have much more HP. MaxPax at 50 probes. How many gates? 3. That is the problem. 3 gates. Clem is expecting a blink-in or a prism, or both, maybe. He's gonna get at least one, and he's already prepared for it. The Observer, MaxPax, like, no, that ain't happening. He's got... Oh, it's a pretty crazy play. He's gonna go Storm. That's how he's gonna make up for his lack of production. He's gonna try to bring the Storms out. Now, it's already happening. Thing is, High Templar, with feedback for the Raven, can definitely make a difference in the fight, just with the feedback. Storm? We'll see. Storm is very expensive, and in this day and age, kind of hard to make effective. Because medevacs, if you don't actually outright kill a unit, well, medevacs exist. So, makes it very hard to secure the killing blow. Though he is gambling a lot on the Storms. Here comes Clem. MaxPax up to 60 probes. All he has to do is hold this attack. Which is, it's not easily said, and it's much harder to actually do. Are the boys? No, those aren't the boys. That's actually just his army. And the Raven has near full energy. Plenty of options here. And, replay complete. Well, we can... Jimmy, I'm gonna go ahead and guess what happens from here. What I guess happens from here, and I'm going to have to verify this with Liquipedia, but let's take a look at the situation. Let's pretend this is a board game. So, we're about to take another turn here. Clem has his army on the board in a good position. He's got +1 finishing. Storm is not quite done yet, but MaxPax does have access to shield battery overcharge in a relatively good position alongside those charge lots. So, what does this mean? Honestly, it comes down to my part. This is very hard to call. Does the game just end here? We were not... Jimmy, you gotta vet these things. This has not happened in a while. Now, before I look it up for this game only, I hope the rest of the replays don't end randomly. What may have happened is the Observer rage quit or lagged out. And that's the replay we have, which is annoying. But so, who do you predict from this position wins the game? My prediction, I already kind of alluded to it, but I think Clem's in pole position here with this army. I think he has so many options that as long as the first storm isn't devastating, he can carry this through to a victory. But don't tune out. We got more games after this, believe it or not. Clem wins. I don't know how much longer it takes, but it appears that Clem's army already up by... Oh my god, the army supply. Yeah, it's not a super hard call to make. We've seen this situation before. MaxPax, I don't think, did enough. And Storm is a big reach. So. Now, thank you for sticking around. And not just skipping past that awkward part, or even worse, turning off the video. Okay. Because, well, here's the thing. I can't guarantee that doesn't happen again in this series with these replays. Usually we don't have such confusing, but don't worry. You can pretty much guarantee it doesn't because you won't be watching this video if it does. Because at that point, I'll just give up and get upset. Not in that order. So, Clem does end up winning from that position. It's tied up 1-1. We're going in a royal blood. Well, thank you for sticking around. We do it live, even when it's recorded, from when it was done live. So if you followed along with all of that, well, you're paying too much attention, all right? Tune it out a bit. It's the early game. Nobody's cheesing yet. You can zone out. I'm going to do some filler commentary. I'm going to talk about Royal Blood, maybe. I can't really make any Queen puns because there's no Zerg in the match, which is a little surprising, but Cyril doesn't... Honestly, these weekly tournaments are such small potatoes that Cyril usually doesn't participate. In fact, the only weekly tournaments that Cyril participates in are the Kung Fu Cups for World Team League. So the ESL Weekly Cups, $400 prize pool. Pretty good. Kung Fu Cups are nearly $1,000 for first place every week. And that apparently is the price to get Cyril to show up and usually either win or be in the finals. So if you're wondering what Cyril's going rate for participating in a tournament for a few hours is, it's about that. But Cyril's not here. But what he has done is be a big part of this game and the filler content that we were waiting for, as I mentioned, until something interesting like a proxy starport happened. Clem going proxy starport Hellion drop against Stargate. Now, and then the replay end. No. What do you think in this thought experiment of a series? Now this, I can't, there's no predicting this. It all comes down to immediate execution. There's going to be 1 or 2 seconds where MaxPax has to micro perfectly. And if he does, Clem could lose everything. Now, it appears to be tradition. Oh my god. Yeah. At least it wasn't a Reaper. It appears to be tradition that MaxPax loses first Adept, I was going to say, but he doesn't. And that one extra Adept could make a huge difference against a Hellion drop, of all things. So, does he suspect it? He knows there's no expansion. The Phoenix is looking. It's hunting. I mean, these two play all the time. Not just in the finals. In fact, I believe they played in the... Yeah, oh my god, we were on the MaxPax cam. And if you were wondering what was going on, that was just him looking around. Alright, that's how players play. Oh no. The Hellions, though, are able to unload 4 kills. Probe's quite vulnerable. No shield battery. 5. Gets another one. Picks it up. Probe chasing. 5 kills. Not great, not terrible. Was it worth it? Well, the medevac actually just sat right outside the base. MaxPax assumed the medevac would head straight home. Clem, what a 103 IQ play. Absolutely genius. And by that I mean slightly above average, with sending the medevac to the edge of the main where MaxPax least suspects, seeing the Phoenixes went towards his base, and then bringing the medevac home via the most scenic detour, trying to keep it alive. Little details. But one more medevac is a huge deal at this stage. The ability to micro any of these units against what MaxPax has, let alone heal, let alone provide another target, well, those are going to be nearly invaluable. As the Adepts are shading in now, that medevac needs to come home as soon as possible. It could be the difference. There's not... Okay, 5 Adepts, 4 Phoenixes. Once again, it depends. He's chasing down the medevac. And medevac boost. Oh, Phoenixes, look for greener pastures here. Or at least easier targets. They'll lift up a couple of the SCVs. Adepts, a couple of them survive. He's gonna kill 6, 7 SCVs, so Clem now in a bit of an awkward spot there. As he's down to 34. But we're once again left in this scenario where Clem is going to have a strong push. I can't believe that medevac survived. I agree. Whoever's observing, I agree. Robotics Bay is done. Wow, that's a lot of Phoenix. He's got 7 Phoenixes. Oh no, the Colossus is supply blocked. Ah, this is so bad. Oh no, it's a disaster. Oh, he's at 70 out of 70. He can barely get on somebody. He's building more pylons. He scans. He sees the Robo Bay. He sees the... I don't know if he doesn't see the Immortal, but there's actually... Oh god, that supply block was really bad. Right as the third base is finishing, he chrono boosted the Robo as it was supply blocked. Oh no. Well, if he gets the Colossus out, maybe he can hold. This has been a series of unfortunate events here for MaxPax. Not able to get enough done. He doesn't outright, despite have... Yeah, sure. This is what... Okay, yeah. We'll just take the gold. Take the gold, but from the other side. So that way they're less likely to scout it. That's pretty much the reason, yeah. It's not any closer. It's just on the other side of the mineral. At this stage, you know what? It's probably a good idea. There's not enough Marines over here. MaxPax recognizes that. He actually just picks up pretty much all the Marines. I believe there's one Widow Mine, which could definitely soften things. Oh, and I didn't even notice that other one, and neither did MaxPax until it was too late. Widow Mine connects on the Phoenixes, softening them up. It looks so weird. A couple times Protoss have tried this. I think it works a lot better if you're not so desperate, as MaxPax somewhat is, after losing his third and having his Colossi delayed by his own hand, or lack thereof. But, well, it's a gamble. Did he see it? Does he suspect it? He's trying to hunt the Phoenixes. The Phoenixes can help zone out, but if Clem puts together even a single drop, should be enough. Clem is still on 2 bases with 44 S. He supply blocked himself at 118, so, and finishing up a few more depots, but still. I don't believe he has a third command center. Nope. No third CC. So Clem, and was there a recall? He's got 15 it's happening. It's going down. If this mines for more than a minute or so, it will pay for itself. Though he does have like a third of his economy there. A little bit less, closer to a quarter, but that is most of MaxPax's income for the next few minutes. Now can he use it? He's got 6 gates and a Robo. It hasn't yet kicked in an extended thermal lance? Yes. Upgrades otherwise? No. Ooh, gets a good lance off though. Vikings. How many Phoenixes? 7 against 7 Vikings. Ooh. The Danish player should definitely know how dangerous those Vikings are. Shield battery, mucking things up. Really for both sides, but helping out MaxPax here. He needs the shield battery overcharge. He uses it. Still 3 Colossi. A tense moment. All this might go down. This game may end one way or another without Clem ever realizing the gold base exists, as he's pressing the issue right now. He's on 2 bases. He's still at 44 SCVs, which means he has no follow-up besides maybe floating his command center to his third. He scans for the gold. He's suspicious. He's sending... Yeah, he's like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? He's figured it out, but he just hasn't seen it yet. But the Phoenixes move to intercept, trying to protect the Colossi, but the concave is so damn good. The Marine has found the gold base, and Clem pulls back from the natural. A warp prism with a strong gust of wind would blow that warp prism away, but it's still intact. It can still warp in. The probes, they know their time is limited. The Zealot might have stopped 1 Marine, but it won't stop 50 Marines and Marauders, give or take. Phoenix is not able to match the Vikings in the sky, but he does have Stalkers underneath. No blink, and not that many Stalkers either. So, not the be-all, end-all here, but he is fighting the he is fighting the Phoenixes. What happened to the probes? Where did the probes go? Why are there probes on the other side of the... Oh, they went around. Uh-oh. 14 probes down. I think they were with the fight somewhat there. But the Vikings are just picking off the Colossi. Down to 2 against 1-1 Bio. Clem has the army, and Clem will use it. GG. Another game. Heading towards the Frenchman. Another 2 base timing. We're assuming from that game too. And right now, it's looking rough for MaxPax as he hasn't been able to drag the games to that more extended scenario, which is a little weird because usually it's Protoss recently who've been trying to end the games against Terran, but Clem seems very intent on hitting these timings. While MaxPax is clearly struggling with them. So, if it ain't broke, then don't send SCVs to repair it, as the saying goes. Game 4. A quick scout here from MaxPax. Does he want to get in and see the gases? It's possible. Clem's been doing the depot blueprint wall in order to block the probe scout, where you just partially build a single... Oh, he's going to get in. It is just one gas this time. Let the probe watch, he says. Doesn't want to get trapped in. He's pretty convinced already that it's not going to be 2 gas, I guess. Based on the fact the SCV came down that... Now, this could be a huge bluff out of Clem, but I don't think that's particularly necessary. And it's not a bluff anymore. Okay. Oh my god. Oh. The hubris!
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
He had to come back for one more. And, well, he got greedy. I think Clem mineral walked in order to get that extra acceleration on the SCV to be able to get that attack off. Because remember, at the beginning of the year, there was a buff to workers. They are a little more responsive when it comes to attacking. Getting that initial attack off. They don't have to decelerate as much. Which is kind of a weird thing to say, but there is a very short but noticeable, especially when you're chasing things, acceleration, deceleration. That's why stutter step is a thing. Rarely do you see stutter stepping workers, but it's Clem, so if anyone was going to. Okay. That I had to wrap my head around that a little. The Adept shaded past the Reaper, and now will die to the Reaper, as is customary, as is tradition. 3 out of 3 times the Reaper has fought the Adept. The Reaper has won. Yes, it usually has a few friends along for the ride, but in 3 out of 4 games, Clem has gone Reaper. In 3 out of 4 games, we've seen Reapers kill Adepts, which is super weird, but MaxPax just commits to the scout. He sees a bunker, which the bunker may... The bunker, honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I usually feel pretty qualified. If I feel more than 75% confident in a strategy or a reason for a build, I will say it like it's 100%. Because at that point, like, who knows the difference? And we're rounding. But at this point, I don't feel confident in this analysis. But I want to point it out anyways. Does MaxPax think the bunker means tech? Because you don't always want a bunker if you're going tech, because then they might run into a Widow Mine, a Cyclone. You're usually pretty okay against early Protoss units. The bunker obviously helps in general, but a bunker that early, yeah, I think is going to come as a bit of a surprise that he's going mass bio. But I truly don't know if he's... Well, 1, if it was trying to mask anything, and 2, if it is necessary to do so. At this point, it doesn't matter, as MaxPax is back to the Phoenixes again. Nothing particularly wrong with him, it just didn't stack up well enough last time. But now, he's up against a straight-up bio push. No Hellions in the main, no Widow Mines, just Marines. And I say just Marines because it is just Marines. Clem is going to have a dozen, almost 2 dozen Marines. And that's it. That's the whole army right now. All right, 2 less. And the factory is slightly delayed. There's a Robo Bay about to complete. But that is a long way from Colossi. And the Marines are a lot closer. But a shield battery on the high ground with the second one to back it up. Alongside any amount of warp-ins here. I don't know if he started a third and canceled or just didn't bother, but Colossi are clearly at a premium right now, even one Colossus. And still doing damage on the other side. A bit supply block, but with pylons on the way. MaxPax prepared. Phoenix, Colossus, extended thermal lance. The mech toss. Just a handful of gateway units in front. Phoenix is still doing work on the other side. Still picking off SCVs. Though MaxPax only has 48 probes, so isn't getting too ambitious with those. This is a very... So, this is the different... This is finesse versus brute force. He's showing, essentially, mech versus bio. Quite literally. You don't think of it for Protoss, but it is a thing, as... the Bio Protoss is your mass charge lot with some Stalkers. We'll lump them in, even though they're technically mech. They don't really fit in either category because no one wants them. They're like the last pick on the playground. They're like, we wanted Dragoons, but I guess we'll take Stalkers. Anyways, the Phoenix Colossus is all about having the right pieces put together. It's not about quantity. It is very much about quality. As 3 or 4 Colossi with extended thermal lance and enough Phoenixes to zone out Vikings means the ground army can't touch you and the air army can't get close. So, that is what MaxPax is attempting to do. It is a very brittle army until it comes together, and even then, it requires a huge attention to detail, as it's very easy to fly over a couple mines, or marines, or even a couple ghosts, and have it come apart. But when used near perfectly, feels nearly impossible to beat. So that's what MaxPax is trying to do right now. On paper, he has the counter to everything. So Clem knows how easily paper is shredded. The Vikings on the way. Clem is two-basing yet again. Ever since that game 1, he's decided we're not bothering with expanding past this. No boys pulled, but mass Viking. All right, Phoenix is in position. Field battery is going to have to be good enough. He doesn't overcharge yet. He's holding on to it. Clem shoving in towards the natural. Disruptor on the way. Shield battery down. Only one more than that. Templar Archives is complete. Second shield battery picked off. Disruptor pops out. Clem doesn't actually dodge perfectly there. The Viking count is high enough to overwhelm the Phoenixes, though. The Robo itself is vulnerable. MaxPax is pinned up against his own bases. And Clem is just acting like he owns the place. Well, the probes are pulled. Colossi stepping forward. Shield battery overcharge reshields them for a bit into the fight. But the Phoenixes are gunned down out of the sky. The Viking count is overwhelming, but the ground army is being zoned out well enough for now. Another warp-in as he transitions into a more ground-based army. 18 probes dead! 19! The Nexus is still going. +1 about to complete. The Archons will very much enjoy that. This many Vikings means not that many medevacs. As MaxPax... Oh my god! Clem? What have you done? Oh, okay, I want to point out, whichever camera I'm observing, just check Clem's base. Like, is there anything going on? I mean, I get it. No, this wasn't the replay just ending. We saw the GG. Well, he's gonna lose this fight. We're gonna assume he loses all these units. There are 9 gates on the field. +1 completes... I don't know, we go to the Clem cam for a moment. He just looks back. I don't know. I mean, he's on match point, so he has another shot at it. But he just killed, did he? He may not have realized how many probes he killed. He killed 19 probes. He's only... In fact, right now, he probably has more income. He does. Yeah, that's a no. That's going to be a yellow card for me. As, that was quite an early GG. I get it. Players almost have a tendency... There was a big argument many years ago. Like half MaxPax's age ago. Almost half Clem's. Where do players GG too early just because they want to GG at a good moment for the fans? And I don't think it was they were trying to GG. Like, pretty much at the end of a fight, where one player thought they were losing, they'd leave. This is like Heart of the Swarm era. Maybe people just didn't want to face Swarm hosts for long. I don't know. But, and it came out to, I think the consensus is, in my opinion, for a weekly tournament, if you have less than low single digits, maybe mid-single, 5%, we'll say. Clem has a way higher than 5% chance of winning this game. Even if all of his units are dead and he doesn't kill anything more, which he's probably going to get that. No. It's like 38%, in my opinion. Like approaching 50. That is way out of bounds. MaxPax will take it, but... And I know exactly what Clem's thinking. He's like, oh, all right, move on. Like, it didn't work this time. Like, oh, whatever. These two play so much. I've seen them go back and forth. I haven't seen too much of that, but he clearly wasn't feeling it. I don't know. Give me your opinions. This is a very, there's not so much game as discussion going on in this cast, but, yeah. High-powered series. Not over, by the way. And that's another key point. If that was the final game, like, if Clem was about to lose this, if he, like, let's say here on Game 5, which he just wanted to give us Game 5, but if he just did that on Game 5, oh my god, that's definitely a red card. That's, get him out. I mean, literally, but... but... we all get tilted. Oh, I definitely leave it. Like, 100%. Those of you who hypothetically actually play ladder games, especially Terrans, most especially, almost exclusively Terrans, definitely left games like that. I'll be honest. Look back. If I actually bother looking at the replay, which, you don't really want to look at this. You look, you're like, well, but those are ladder games. And sure, winning the ESL Weekly Cup might be almost a weekly occurrence for both of these players on one server or another, but... The thing is, for me, let me pull it back. As a caster, as a commentator, as an influencer, those are the kind of games that, if both players are fighting with all of it, can be the most epic. The most exciting, the most back and forth. Most games don't end up like that. I bet 9 out of 10 games that Clem is in that position, he ends up losing because he just doesn't have map control, he doesn't have a third base, like... But the 1 out of 10... No. I mean, many StarCraft games are good, but that is the kind of scenario that makes a game great, in my opinion. So, a wag of the finger, a raising of the eyebrow, and a mild chastisement. And now we move on to Game 5. Is there a Reaper? So the Adept will live. There is no Reaper. There was an NG Bay block, which went uncommentated. It is an annoying start. It's essentially the same as Protoss blocking a hatchery against Zerg. The trickle-down annoyance. Forcing MaxPax, not forcing, but highly encouraging, taking the third base, which is much more vulnerable. If you have to move between your main and your third, it's a lot harder to defend both locations than it is your natural. It's called your natural because it's where you naturally expand. It's kind of on the nose with that. And if you're not able to take it, it makes things harder. It's called your third because it's usually your third base. Like and subscribe for more knowledge bombs. Mm-hmm. 3 probes in this drive-by roasting. Loses 2 Halligans. Yeah. Once again, MaxPax has turned towards the Stargate, which is very interesting. Usually in a series, you don't put him down. Well, why can SCVs repair in the air, yet they cannot attack in the air? The answer is very simple. Shut up. Phoenixes. Pick up some Marines. Knock them down dead. Still maintaining control with them. The big benefit of the Phoenixes is the constant scouting as well, on top of the ability to pick apart so many attacks. Of course, the weakness is how much you've invested in Phoenixes. So they absolutely must stay alive and stay active. Otherwise, you do risk getting run over by Clem, no matter when he taps out of the game. Robo Bay on the way. Stim combat shield. No +1. No NG Bay? Ooh, a little late. Yeah, I think there should have. Clem may be a bit tilted. No. He is going to have 2 medevacs with Stim and combat shield. Well before... Oh, not well before, but a little before a Colossus comes out. MaxPax should be ready to deal with this. The question is whether he can actually challenge the medevacs, potentially hunt them down with the Phoenixes. We will see. I'm watching. I'm watching the mineral line. Though he's adding on another gas, which is not something you usually do if you're going to pull the boys. So. +1 starts. 2 shield batteries. 1 forward and 1 tucked into the base. Widow mines on the way as well. Cyclones constantly prodding the Phoenixes back to the base. But the Colossus is out. Ooh. He's trying to bait out the force field here. As that is the biggest danger to the army coming up the ramp. But now the Colossus is a much bigger danger. By definition. Stimming the Marines. Widow Mine's now a bit more of a questionable choice. Still good, potentially, against the Phoenixes, but a lot less effective against Colossi. Dancing back and forth. The army can't move out. You can't move out into that much bio. But if it tries to come up a ramp, it'll get choked off and melted. So, Clem understands this. MaxPax understands this. Losing a medevac. Ooh, 2 Colossi now. Force field hastens the retreat. A second. He's got 8 Phoenixes. There's not a single Viking to challenge them. So air control goes directly to MaxPax with no contest. At least not yet. Looks like Clem is going to try to match him on the field. He just has so much bio. His ground army is huge compared to that of MaxPax, who has 2 Colossi and like 5 other units. Okay, like 7 gateway units. So the Phoenixes are completely necessary in order to zone everything out. Adept almost delays the third. No concussive shells for Clem. I don't know if he noticed that when chasing the Adept, but the concussive shells is a little hard to notice if you're missing. Right up until you really need it and you realize, oh no. Very cheap upgrade as well. Just one of those that is easily forgotten until right after you needed it. Clem still Even if he's missing a few things, he's still got plenty out there. MaxPax pinned back up into his base. As with this army composition, the sheer overhead cost, pun somewhat intended, of going Phoenixes, and then going all the way towards the Robo Bay, the amount you spend on tech and production is what keeps you from being able to get out on the map against this sort of army. Now you notice the count, picks up the mines, deals with them. Unfortunately, another mine hit the warp prism on the way out of all the units, softening it up. Probably the most important unit to try to keep alive in many of these mid-game scenarios. Anything to warp in, anything to keep Clem... Oh my god, he put another mine. That's just rude. Ghost Academy on the way. There's a Templar. No yeah. No Ghost yet, but no Storm on the way. He's trying to close in on the Bio Army here. No Blink. Not even charge done yet. Picks up. Phoenixes will chase. He actually has enough to potentially just pick up the Marines. He ends up doing so. May lose a Phoenix. Vikings are out. And Ghosts are in production. So, it is not by no means clear. And a 1 HP Warp Prism still warps in at maximum speed. He gets behind the mineral line. MaxPax drags Clem back. The Vikings are far out of position. Clem realizes, but maybe a bit too late as MaxPax steps forward with his army. Gonna try to burn through the Vikings. Fighting, they targeted the Colossus for a moment, but not getting the damage done. +1 army. +1 armor is completed for Clem. The Phoenixes still dueling with the Vikings. How many end up going down? We've lost 2 Phoenixes, 3 Vikings. Trying to target some of the Colossi. And now it's MaxPax who's shoving in the Clem's natural. Force field actually zones out. Caught between his command center and a force field there. The Viking count is dipping. Archon in front. The supply gap has switched. And now is in MaxPax's favor. A few more charge lots at the front. EMP across the board. But 3 Colossi. 17 kills. He's still able to stutter step them down. But loses 36 SCVs, and MaxPax wins. And again, Clem, I like this one a little more understandable. Not quite nailing all the hits. It looks like he's used a lot of Selecta army. Clearly a bit tilted here, but a bit of an awkward ending. The EMP, pretty good, but yeah. Well, there's still the Phoenixes and still the Colossus. I'm not gonna pull out another yellow card on that one. And either way, he's already out. So, but MaxPax holding a bit of a convoluted series, but MaxPax takes it 3-2, and he does it with the Phoenix Colossus. Maybe that's Clem's bane, as he knows how to fight against someone trying to open up into that mass gateway style. But the Phoenix Colossus just threw him off, so much so that, well, here we are. MaxPax 3-2 in this edition of the ESL Cup EU. Well, it was a fun one either way. Always good to see him go back and forth. I look forward to the next one. Clem, you got to bring it back. All right. We're watching. We're watching. And thank you for that. I hope you enjoyed, Jimmy. 1,080? 80. Ooh, we're getting up there. Likes. I'll cast another series. We'll make sure to keep track of these too. Thank you for watching. These young whippersnappers and their early GGs. Anyways, good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.